Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to test out Adelard EX level 120. I meant to record my guild battle videos because this is why I built this team. But I just completely forgot. So let's kind of get into Adelard a little bit. He's the new EX. Let's kind of take a look at what he's holding here. So basically what I have him is his new EX support ability, gives him a ton more magic. In addition to this used to be the initial AP up from Red Mage, and now it just gives him a ton more magic. So that is actually a very good one that I want to hold on to. And then I also have Mage's Protection, which gives him magic resist up. So funny thing about Adelard is with this build, he's actually pretty decent against magic. But the funny thing about him is he actually starts with -10 or -10, I believe, magic resistance. But with that passive, it goes up to +5. And I think his other support ability brings him up to either like 10 or 15, 15 or 20. But if you really wanted to, you can make him very magic resistant. So that's actually pretty good for someone who starts with little magic resistance. And you could actually see, I guess with this build in total, he actually has a lot of resistances in general. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. The way I built him, the way I built this team is basically for the guild map so that they would be able to jump. I have Shukuchi on Mont. I have the Tourmaline Ring on Seymour, and Adelard just naturally has a 2 jump. So other than that, the vision cards are basically fire vision cards. I've kind of been trying to make a fire team for the longest time, and I just haven't been able to. So I kind of just took this opportunity to make it. I know I'm not really doing that well in Arena right now, but I think my goal is just to see how this team does, maybe put them up against, let's go ahead and go up against the metal team like right here. So let's see what happens. 1400 attack, 2900 magic. I think that's about right when it comes to a fully maxed out team. So I kind of just want to watch Adelard and see what he does. And actually, I don't think he's in the greatest spot here. I kind of would want King Mont to be closer to the front. But as you can see, he actually took a pretty decent attack. But I'm kind of suspicious because Seymour actually took that attack as well. He doesn't really have any kind of magic resistance, but he does have area resistance from that War Machine? Death Machine? I forgot what it's called. Alright, so if Seymour gets to attack again, I think he actually has some pretty decent attacking power. So I think he might actually take down Black Witch Helena, and there he does it. So now I want to see if Adelard does any healing or if he's going to go for a jamming thrust. There he goes. So that's the interesting thing about Adelard is that he will actually heal. He's not a real healer, but he will actually heal. And I forgot to disable Fast Cast. So Fast Cast, I wanted it for the guild battle. So actually that was really good, the jamming thrust on Yuna, and that should actually also reduce her counter rate. So she wasn't able to use Aeon Bond, and that's kind of what we want on Adelard. She's casting another spell here, but Adelard didn't get to go on time. I think the action is just too hot for him to try to heal right now. So you can see he's not like a real healer like Yuna goes in there and starts healing. But maybe this will be enough, and it's actually enough. So maybe, oh no, the re-raise. I was gonna say maybe if Mont can take that hit and then Adelard goes again, that might have been enough, but you could pretty much see what he was meant to do. Of course, Seymour ran in there a little too fast, and that's not necessarily what I wanted. So I think I'm gonna switch Adelard and Mont. So that way Mont is up front. And the thing with Adelard, the problem with him, with his support skills, is that he casts on everyone else except himself. So maybe that's because he's not in the first slot. You know what? Let me leave it like that and see if he casts it himself. Because if he has fast cast on him, then maybe he'll actually do something good. So we're gonna try to go against magic teams. Maybe not a water unit there. I do have, well, I do have Spirit on King Mon, so I think I'll just leave it alone. And then we'll just go in and see if we could find a little bit more of a magic team. There's little Leela. But a Yuna, I think a Yuna is pretty much perfect. So I think the thing with Adelard is he's not necessarily healer. I think his new EX thing is called Suppressor Incarnate. So maybe this is called Suppressor. I could swear it was called Suppressor, but I kind of feel like that's what he does. He suppresses the enemy magic team. His new Firaga ability lowers magic. His jamming thrust is a jamming thrust, and then it also reduces counter. So that's perfect for someone like Yuna who heals on her counter like pretty much all the time, basically. And his magic, he just has a lot of magic, and he is able to get magic resist if you want to build him that way. I do want to build him with some magic. So I'm going to either pick this or this. Let's pick this team. I think this team looks a little bit better, even though they have a couple of 115s. I have 2 MRs, and they have 3 meta units, basically. So I don't really feel bad about that. All right, let's see if changing the position. The first thing I want to see if he does the fast cast on himself. So I think Seymour I probably shouldn't have him there because he just runs in like a crazy man. But I think with the proclamation, Mont should. Okay, so there's the fast cast, and Mont should be able to get in front and draw that hate, hopefully. I don't like how they're still together. Okay, so Mont took the hate, so that's good. As long as Mont is taking the hate, I think we're fine. Adelard could have come in here with a heal, but looks like he chose not to. And there's a big hit on Cloud, so yeah. Seymour's the one doing the damage. Adelard's not really getting in there too much. The fast cast on the Mont. Yeah, so I'm glad he casted it on himself, but Mont doesn't really have any casting ability, so that's kind of a bad AI. And Seymour hits for 10,000. What the heck? Okay, there is a really good jamming thrust distance-wise on Elena. And Mont goes down to I think that was Holy. But we're actually kind of holding our own here, so. Alright, looks like Adelard took a decent magic attack, but he couldn't do enough damage onto Elena, and Adelard ends up going down. That's not a problem. So this is pretty much a bust. Seymour does have a pretty good attack. I think it's called Dream Collar Blade, but he doesn't have enough AP to actually be able to pull it off. So I think what I would have wanted to see on that battle was for Adelard to jamming thrust onto Yuna more so. Well, I think other than that, it's pretty much going as expected, So let me just go ahead and disable fast cast. I wish this would work better, but it just doesn't. So we're gonna have to disable it. Let's just disable it from duel and then confirm. Let me just see if there's anything else. I probably don't want him to cast protect or shell, because it's kind of the same thing where he just decides, oh, let me cast it on everyone else and let me just keep doing that. So his AI is pretty supporty, but once he gets within the distance, he will do the attacks. So we have an Orlando here, not going to be quite the meta team, but there is a Yuna, so let's kind of go after that. And here's the thing, guys, with me is I'm not necessarily trying to win here. I'm just trying to see what Adelard can do. And there's going to be some adjustments. That's basically what I'm doing. So he's just, now I feel like he's way too far back. And I would like for him to have like a +1 move on him. or to just start here in the middle. So that might be what I do next, and just put them in the middle. All right, so perfect example of where you want a good bad reaction down, and Cloud ends up dying anyway. So he actually does pretty good magic damage onto Cloud, who doesn't really have magic resistance. And I think now that it's just Orlando, unless Yuna gets the full life off, I don't think this is going to be anything crazy. As you can see here, no Aeon Bond on counter on that, so looks like that jamming thrust is working. I would love it if he could jamming thrust while she's casting, because I think that would obviously be the best time to do it. And there we go, Dream Calling Blade with the sleep. Okay, so that one actually went pretty decent. Not the highest, most maxed out team. And again, guys, I know I'm not top of the arena right now, but I kind of forgot to put on my bonus units yesterday. And now I switched my bonus units and cards so that I could try this team out, because I don't really have another place to try it out right now. But let's see what happens if we put Adelard in the middle. Seymour has one turn to use up his jump too, otherwise he's just going to stay behind. So this map is not the greatest. The guild map is also not that great, to be honest, but that's what we're going to go for. I would go for this if there weren't 2 water units. But I might come back to that actually. Okay, this seems like it should be good. Let's come into this one and let's see what we can do. If we could get Adelard, so he does have the 2 jump, which is really good. If we could get Adelard in there to stop some casts. Let's see what Seymour does. Oh, he doesn't get down, so that's... I don't know if that's good yet, actually. We do want Mont to be in the front, so that's good. But it looks like Yuna's over there on her own, doing pretty much nothing, so... I'm not sure if Adelard's going to be able to do much. Alright, so Yuna in the first slot, not that great. Oof, we got the confusion, so that means he's not going to actually use any skills. And down he goes. So, looks like this team actually has some pretty high magic. Because the KelThaFunkee didn't really do much onto Adelard. But then again, I do have the slash resistance on. So. Alright, so that kind of didn't really go that well. Adelard did get attacked pretty early on. Looks like, I guess maybe Mont didn't cast his proclamation in time. So maybe let's keep Adelard in that first slot. Kind of go from there. Alright, let's see if we can find some magic users. That's kind of the thing though, like Little Leela's instacast. Sakura's probably decent, but that team kind of looks weak. Yeah, that's kind of, now the thing is, my rank in arena is really starting to show now. What level is this team on? 107, 115. This is gonna be 99. Everybody forgot to equip their items. Like, what's going on here? Let's see if we could find any other magic users. Because is there really anyone else that uses cast? I mean, I do remember jamming thrusting a Cloud earlier, but like he was using charge. But I mean, why would anyone leave that on purposely? There's a Yuna. See, that's kind of actually one of the problems with this team is the accuracy. So even though I might be able to kill the Yuna, that 2B is going to destroy me. But we can go after that one if we don't really find another team. So wait, this team looks pretty good. It's Cloud and Yuna and then Auron. So Yeah, their attack and magic seem like they're pretty good, so let's kind of go after this team. I did try Rain on this team earlier, but he was really bad when it came to navigating around the map on guild battles. So I kind of just took him off for Seymour. I thought Seymour had 2 jump naturally, but apparently he doesn't, so... Alright, so actually the one person we don't really want to face on this team is actually weak to us, so that's fine. Let's see if Eunuch does anything. Okay, so Adelard got in there and sort of lowered her Aeon Bond. It's kind of hard to tell when she dies like the next turn, but so far every time he's hit Yuna, she hasn't gotten an Aeon Bond off, so that's a good thing, right? Cloud, we managed to hit Cloud without him reflexing, so I think that effect comes first, if I'm not mistaken. So, okay, so that was a relatively good team. I don't know if you guys want to count that because of the RN, but I think in terms of doing what he needed to do, I feel like Adelard did his job, so I'm pretty good with that. Okay, so let's check that, the jamming thrust, the ceiling thrust, right? Lowers ability, then deals damage. Okay, so it happens before the reflex and before the Aeon Bond. All right, so let's find another team here. I don't really know how I'm gonna do against this team, but why not? Let's use a potion here. I have a ton of potions because I rarely try to top out an arena. All right. So Black Witch Helen is sort of all the way to the left. So basically, well, I guess the Gilgamesh is weak to all of us, which is okay. We just have to like not let Seymour get killed. By the way, I was kind of thinking of mono element teams, and I don't think any of these units have any, you know, fire team buffs. I think that started with like Luartha and Raldor. So I think fire is a little bit lacking in terms of that. It looks like, I think Mont got hit there. He actually took a pretty decent hit from Helena. I keep getting Elena and Helena mixed up in my mind. Alright, so it looks like the unit attack, the area attack resistance is sort of helping out here. So that is good. It looks like Seymour doesn't really have any height to his attacks. And there goes a good jamming thrust. So I guess his clairvoyant blade is disabled now. Hopefully he doesn't do it again. And it looks like he's got a lot of magic resistance or spirits, so basically we're not doing, maybe it was that buff. Oh, there we go, that was good. So Adelard putting in some work. He pretty much 3-shot Gilgamesh there. Let's see what we do against this Helena. Adelard's a little bit on the slow side, so I did put some speed stuff on him, but I was kind of hoping he would be able to, you know, Helena would cast and then he would just be able to jamming thrust, but I guess that didn't happen. Helena does have some instant cast skills. Alright, so I don't think our rank is going to be getting that much better even if we win, just because of we don't have any bonus units. So that kind of essentially looks like the same team. See if we could find something else. Ooh, alright, this actually looks like someone I just fought a little bit, a few battles ago, so the arrangement is different though, so we'll see. Yuna is up front in terms of that little ramp. She's at the front of that ramp. So let's see if we can sort of pacify her, suppress her a little bit. I want to say I think maybe Salir is suppressor, black mage suppressor or whatever. I am working on her. See, if Adelard was up front, that would be a good time to ceiling thrust. I am working on Salir. Ooh, she just got destroyed, so I guess a a Yuna getting hit by physical attacks is just gonna take a lot of damage either way. So there goes a good jamming thrust onto Helena, and she has the re-raise, sadly. Looks like we might take some good damage here, and Adelard's down. King Mont kills Helena, but I don't think he's gonna have enough against this KelThaFunkee full life, unless he decides to get a crystal. But I feel like my units are bad when it comes to going to crystals. Oh, there he goes, actually. I think this is pretty much a loss either way. Even if we win, I think this is pretty much a loss because obviously we used the help from the crystal. So let's see if he goes. Did she just go 3 times? Okay, he didn't go for the crystal. He stepped over it. What is going on? All right, we might win by HP. So there we go. 2 crystals is all it took to win. That was funny. But, you know, we're kind of just seeing what Adelard does. He did get that good hit on Helena, but we had that re-raise, unfortunately. And Yuna went down pretty much instantly. So that was kind of both good and funny. So Robin Hood here. I feel like the Laswell might be the weak link on that one. I still feel like Medina's the weak link, but let's go for this one since it's a magic team. And I think so far this is going pretty decent. So
are you prepared to lose your lives?
Well then, let me have a little.
alright, so in terms of the, well, I guess it doesn't really matter in terms of the alignment, because all 3 of them are magic users, and they're both casting, which is like, what is going on? Adelard, why can't you get in there faster? Okay, so actually, now that I think about it, there's a couple of options in terms of movement. One of them being Kane's TMR. Ooh, she just barely survived that. And one of them being Ketone's TMR. So Ketone's TMR might actually be good if he can equip it. So let me try that and see if he'll put it on. And if he does, then that's even better because it also gives him hide if that works out. So let's see what happens with that. All right, let's jump into here. And then I'm going to have to change his sword if I do that. Maybe I could leave him, but that does give him magic attack up. You know what? We're just experimenting here, so let's see what happens. I kind of don't want to take off the speed and the unit attack resistance. But in terms of, I think I want the magic resistance more than anything else. Let's see. Well, maybe with the gauntlet, he won't have to worry about getting hit. So let's try this. So the thing with this sword is, even though it's way more magic, it's slash attack up. And I don't think Adelard has any slash skills. Jamming thrust is magic. Sealing thrust. And I think resistance break is piercing. Yeah. So, but let's see if the Saiga Gauntlet actually gives him. Let me just double check that. Saiga Gauntlet, Fleet of Foot. Move jump by 1, so he's gonna have jump 3. Oh my god, he's gonna do insane things right now. He's gonna jump down the cliff. I can see this going badly, actually. Alright, so we're gonna have a little bit of a disadvantage here, so I think that should make up for the low levels. I don't really know. Alright, let's see what happens on our side. So they're kind of moving towards the right. So, I mean, that's pretty much what should be happening. And just as I thought, he just jumps down the cliff. But he's actually, I think he's actually in a way better spot now. So it's fine. And the water is too much for us. So That's kind of bad. And he goes for the Firaga? Oh, wow. But she doesn't actually have magic attack, so I don't know why he did that. I guess that was just more damage than the jamming thrust. And he just had enough time to do it, so he just went for it. Alright. So I actually do like that you jump down. It's just the water is too much for us, apparently. Now, was that the last orb? Should I? Okay, we have one more orb. Let's try to find something similar to what we've been seeing. Here's a Yuna. So now that he's jumping down, maybe the Yuna? Maybe he'll hit the Yuna? So let's see what happens. So I guess ideally, I'm kind of wondering, like, if he does the magic down, that might be useful. But the, reducing her counter chance is also pretty useful, so. Alright, here's Fleet of Foot. Proclamation, good. Warrior Light's not going to do much. Well, I don't know if this is really a great team, because there's basically 2 tanks on this team. Okay, so he goes after King Mart, who definitely has the hate, and now he puts himself in trouble. The hide isn't going to be good for him. Okay, so that was good. The hide isn't good for him because nobody else is within range. So maybe now Mont might take the hate. And no, he doesn't. It looks like this Mont isn't really doing much. But really, Adelard's just distracted and not doing much against Yuna, which is kind of what I wanted him to do. So, even though, I mean, I guess that was good, but I think at this point, he's not doing what I wanted him to do or anything. So, it doesn't really matter. I just want him to attack the Yuna. Well, there goes the heal, so at least he's sort of multitasking, I guess. Taking on multiple roles. I feel like he could have jamming thrusted Yuna from there. Maybe it doesn't have 3 height, but I could swear it had some kind of ridiculous height. And actually, Yuna's not even Aeon bonding, so. Of course, he goes for the Ramu. Alright, so I think this is pretty much, even we won it, but it was kind of a bad one because he didn't really do much. Alright, so I think that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it off. I guess this video is 30 minutes long almost, so let me just leave it off there. And, it wasn't perfect, but he did kind of do a lot of the good stuff that we wanted him to. These maps are pretty bad with all this jump and trying to position yourself, but tomorrow I'm going to try to record my guild battles. And hopefully he does something decent there, because I feel like today he did do pretty decently. I just wasn't able to record it. Alright, let me leave it there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao. Alright guys, so here's a little bit of a highlight reel. This first one is actually Adelard just casts a heal in the middle of the battlefield, so I thought that was actually pretty good. He doesn't always like heal and do the right support stuff, but that was actually really well timed. And here's highlight number 2, where he uses the ceiling thrust on Yuna. Kind of didn't really end up making much of a difference because we couldn't finish off Yuna, and we end up losing the battle anyway, so. And this one is kind of a low light. One bad thing about him is that he'll actually cast his buffs on everyone else and sort of ignore doing more important things in the battle. And here we actually see the reflex on Cloud, followed up by the ceiling thrust. Would have been nicer if it came out a little bit earlier, could have saved us a couple of turns, but that was pretty good. Later on in the same battle, we land the ceiling thrust on Yuna, but she heals right after anyway, so don't really know if that had an effect. And here is actually the best ceiling thrust of the entire day, where we actually follow up with another hit and the Yuna goes down instantly, so that was actually really good. And here we're sort of finishing up the cloud. We pretty much go from full health, but the ceiling thrust does end up killing him before the re-raise. That might have helped out actually, so that was actually a pretty good one too. And here we have a clairvoyant blade followed up by a ceiling thrust. Arguably this was bad timing, but in theory this could have helped the rest of the battle. In practice it didn't actually help anything. With a better map I think we could have done better with that. And this was kind of a two-step one where he stepped back the previous turn and now he actually just heals. So I think that was actually tactically pretty good. Not really sure how much that would actually come up in a battle, but I kind of ended up liking what he did there. So that's it, guys. Overall, I think he has pretty decent potential. He doesn't necessarily always make the perfect decision in battle, but he does have a lot of options in what he can do, so that's part of it. And part of it is also because I disable certain things, and maybe that's sort of what he's designed to mostly do. I think in different maps where height and distance to the other units on the same team aren't that much of a factor, I think he would do much better. But there really aren't any maps right now that I can test, so this is what we have for now.